Thank you for joining me from Chengdu in China, Western China. And you are our city leader for that very important city and very important part of our business. And it's been one of our most successful markets in China for quite a few years now. And I really appreciate your leadership of it. But of course, over these past few months, we've had the impact of COVID and the emergence of it in China and then the dissemination of it into a global pandemic. But also in China, we've had the management of the issue and the early reopening of the market, which in your case, you were back in operation by late February. So I think it would be very interesting for us to talk about this morning how your management of that market has taken us from a situation of lockdown to a situation where you are almost fully back to normal in terms of your business activity.
After the outbreak, Chengdu actually was one of the cities actually in China which was not so heavily impacted by the outbreak, but people were very cautious about that. So after the Spring Festival, when we allowed to go back, we actually worked closely with our local government. And then basically we worked as a bridge between our local government and our members to help them to obtain permissions to get back to work. So actually we had a very good feedback from our members. Because we worked hard actually to work with them closely, to also work with our local government.
So you reopened some of these centers quite early in as you were allowed in mid-February, but then I believe one of your buildings reopened only into the end of February. Why was there a difference in how the different buildings were addressed?
Actually, the building we opened last, I believe, is our IFS Center. Our IFS Center is the landmark building, actually, located in the landmark building of Chengdu. So there are more strict government restrictions with that building. Some of our clients, actually, they were quite in a hurry, actually, to get back to office. So we try to talk more actually with the local government to help them to get back, especially with IFS Center. Actually, we spend really a lot of work on that.
Yes, your occupancies prior to COVID were very high, and you have an expanding business in that we are opening additional centers and additional capacity. How have you managed and what has been the impact on client retention and on the re-engagement of clients after COVID?
Actually, our client retention is quite good, even after the outbreak. Actually, some good news I want to share with you is we did have a client actually, because of their business expansion, they decided to check out with TSA after the Spring Festival. And because of the outbreak, with all the work we have done for them, for example, all the disinfection in the public area, also taking care of their staff, and they have decided to come back to us, talk about office expansion. So basically our service actually does value, especially with all the work we have done actually after the outbreak. So that's why we tend to have a very good retention actually in Chengdu.
You know, I'm really proud of you and the team because, you know, of course, we're people as well. So the effort of disinfecting, the effort of supporting the clients, all those extra steps that we took at the same time that we ourselves and the teams themselves would have been worried about exposure to the virus. It's really shows the level of premium service that you deliver to the members, and the fact that you had a client that was leaving but has now come back and is expanding with us is testament to your performance. I mean, that's excellent. And where is your next center in Chengdu, and when is it opening? What is the status of that?
Actually, we opened IFS Phase 3 after the outbreak, basically, to be specific, in June, this month actually, to be specific.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, so it's quite good actually. We have reached our pre-sale target. I mean, we do have very good inquiries and pipelines on hand because the city is back to normal basically for Chengdu. So we are sort of, everybody I think is trying to get back to normal.
The clients that we work with in Chengdu are a mix of foreign multinationals and domestic. What kind of industries are currently expanding within your market?
I think it's mainly in financial areas, especially after the Chinese government financial reform in April, and there are more foreign financial companies entering into market. I think it's not only happening in Chengdu, but also happening in other cities in China. So we had a big inquiry actually with one of the financial companies, or foreign ones actually, coming in Chengdu. So it's a big news actually for the market. You
continue to be a growth market, and I know that you've been working and interacting with some of the neighboring large markets like Chongqing. How and possibly even Xi'an. I mean, how is the communication between the cities in your part of China?
Actually, Chengdu and Chongqing are working very closely because most people, when they come to southwest of China, they are talking about Chengdu and Chongqing. So we do have clients traveling to Chongqing, and we also have Chongqing clients coming into Chengdu. So basically, we have a lot of cross sale, and also we work very closely in terms of business partners. So we do have like European Chamber in southwest of China. They are based in Chengdu, but their business covering in Chongqing. So we're working with European Chamber for both of the cities.
That's excellent. And the Chinese corporates and that you're working with are also growing at, in some cases, exponential rates. And I know that we're beginning to deal with them not only in China, but deal with them as clients across Asia into Australia and the Middle East, which is really quite exciting. Because the traditional definition of a multinational would be a Western company going global. But nowadays, we have our own Chinese multinationals and our own Asian multinationals that are driving forward at the same time. As your market reopened into March, I know that the attendance of the members coming back to the centers in the beginning was very low because I think people were very worried and they were still deciding whether it was safe to come back. But by the end of March, your attendance was back to normal, and in fact, in April and May, has been higher than normal. How have you engaged with the clients as they've come back? Have you been holding events, or are they still webinars? Are people willing to attend business or social functions, or is it still an issue of social distancing?
At the very beginning, we were a bit worried about social distancing. So what we have done, but we still want to collect with our members. So what we have done is we try to distribute small little gifts to our clients. We are discussing with like CPPC and the European Chamber to hold in small events for our clients. So basically, we had done the gradual steps in the past three months, but right now I think in Chengdu everybody's calm down. So we are okay with like talk to people and join small little events.
The COVID pandemic has dominated the news for the last 5 months, but underneath there are other things occurring. One is the opening up of the financial services sector in China, with foreign banks now able to operate as a 100% foreign-owned entity. That's a very important move. And then also in technology and technological development, huge initiatives. And also in the car industry. I know that in Chengdu you have quite a few car manufacturers. There's a big push towards e-vehicles, and all of these initiatives are still occurring even as we deal with the COVID pandemic on the surface. So it's interesting to see how it's driving your business. And your teams, you've mentioned how they have come in and they've been supporting the clients. They opened as soon as they possibly could back in February. it feels like they've been working very hard. What have you done to support our teams in terms of making sure that they're safe and healthy, but also motivated? Because it must be quite stressful to be the most active person in the center.
When we were at home, we were working in WeChat groups. And firstly, talk about what we can support our members and also support our staff. But in Chengdu, we have a great team here. I mean, everybody is every support to our work. So we work very closely. So we talk on WeChat on frequent basis. And then when we have to come back to do all the disinfection, we came into as a group, with small little groups actually. So we support each other, on frequent communication.
That's excellent. And please extend my thanks and everybody's thanks to you and your teams. A lot of these efforts are deeply appreciated, even though people don't go around saying thank you. I think they appreciate it by the fact that they're with you, and as we mentioned earlier, the retention rates and even now the growth rates. But how have you coped with it yourself? Because, who have you turned to? What have you done during these last few months to relieve the stress and find the work-life balance?
Sort of okay, because I have a very good husband to support my work, and also I have a boy, nearly turns to six years this year. So I wasn't not too happy because he was at home most of the time, so he tend to drive me crazy. But good news is, most kids are going back to kindergarten. So he's back to kindergarten right now. So everybody, our family is relieved and relaxed at home. So we are happy now, actually.
Excellent. Well, that's that finding that balance and reconnecting with the family is important. And I've heard various opinions from various managers as to how they've coped, but I'm glad to hear that it's been a positive experience for you. It's a testament to the quality of the Executive Center as a business in multiple locations that you have delivered such premium service, and that our business has continued to perform so well, and even has continued to grow with the opening of the latest center, and the exceeding of the pre-sale targets and the expansion of the existing clients. I mean, one would think that you had no problems, but of course that's not the case at all. So it's a job really, really well done, and I really, really appreciate it. And I appreciate you holding up the banner of the Executive Center so firmly.